Okay, Dave. So let's get it started. I'll hold this talk in English if it's good for you. Is it? Okay. Perfect. This talk is entitled From Android App to Killer Application. How to reach the 1 million downloads milestone. I introduce myself. I'm Mario Viviani. I'm a founder and CEO at Mariux, which is a startup focused on Android development. I started this startup 3 years ago, and now I've been publishing more than 90 apps on the Google Play Store. I'm also the first Android Google developer expert in Italy, which is a role who's supposed to help developers in the Italian community to build compelling and interesting new applications on Android. And this talk is going to be all about this, about creating new, interesting, and great applications. So let's get it started. What is a killer application? I know that a lot of you already knows what a killer application is. For the one who don't, a killer app is an application that proves the core value of some larger technology and allows the developer of this application to be the most successful in a particular area. Some examples. Let's say Angry Birds, for example. Why Angry Birds become a killer application? Of course, because, in my opinion, because it was one of the first games to actually prove that the touchscreen is a great platform for games. You know, you can use the touchscreen to move the birds, to launch them, and it's really funny. So it was one of the first games that do that kind of stuff. Instagram, for example. Instagram is all about photography, about taking cool pictures, and also as a really important social network component. You can take pictures, apply effects, and then share them, which is great. And WhatsApp. WhatsApp is, of course, all of us use WhatsApp. Why? There were other messaging applications. So why WhatsApp became popular? Well, because you just install WhatsApp and then you don't have to configure it. It already takes all your contacts and you already have them. You don't have to do anything and start messaging, which is awesome. This made WhatsApp a killer application. Why I'm here talking about application or about killer applications? Well, because I sort of developed one killer application. As I said, I published more than 90 apps on Google Play, but this application, it's called Superclock Wallpaper, got more than 8 million downloads. And in the last 3 years, it has been stable in the top 100 free, top 100 paid, and top grossing. Also, most of my work is focused on development of applications I publish myself on Google Play. So I know a couple of things that I find interesting and I want to share with you about building what it can be a new killer application. So let's start with the basic. Of course, knowledge of the system. Why? Just as you can't write a book, a novel, without knowing the alphabet, for example, or the grammar. The same thing is for Android. You can write a killer application if you don't know how to develop an actual Android application. So what can you do to improve your skills? You need to practice. You need to be fluent with Android development if you want your application to be perfect. If you want users to keep using your application, you need to keep practicing. There are a lot of documentation, a lot of code samples on the web, on the official website of Android. So you need to focus on that and keep trying and keep improving yourself as a code developer. And you need to learn from other developers. That's right. You have to go searching for forums. I know all of you have gone on Stack Overflow. When you have some problems, you go search out something, and that's fine. Actually, you have to improve yourself, and that is great. But one of the most important thing, in my opinion, is to experiment. Is to try something new. Focus on. Keep doing different things. Keep trying different aspects of your application. But having a really well-coded application, in my opinion, is not enough to bring an application to become a killer app. Why? Because there are multiple factors. So if you think that you already got your Android application and you just apply a new powerful code improvement on your application, then you're going to have a killer application. Well, this is wrong. This is not going to happen. I mean, okay, the code is the basic, but you have to do something more than that. And that's why this looks like a really better way to get to a killer application. Multitasking is the way, in my opinion. With multitasking, I do not mean doing multiple things in the same time. I mean that you have to be multi-skilled to be a complete Android developer and to deliver a killer application. So these are the main categories where you need to improve yourself. Development skills, of course, but design and user experience skills. And of course, marketing, because people need to know about your application. The application needs to be cool, so design is fine, but you have to promote your application. And these things are equivalent in terms of delivering a cool application. One skill to rule them all? No. There is no one key to, to deliver a killer application. You have to do all this stuff, in my opinion. So let's go on. Let's start a bit before the development of an application. You want to build a killer application. A killer application is something that is going to be downloaded by millions of users, of customers actually. You want them even to purchase your application, to keep using it. How can I be sure that my application is going to be downloaded? Well, actually you can't, but you can do some kind of searching that will help you improve the idea of how your application is going to be perceived by your users. So it's what I call this scratching the surface of Google Play. Why? Because your application is going to be published, and the main channel to deliver application is Google Play. So what you have to do? You have to see what is trending. Let's say we want to build a photograph application. It's all about social networking and it has effects. Well, if you go looking on Google Play, you see that there's Instagram, for example, which has, I think, 100 million downloads. So maybe you better go and do something else, or you can do another thing. You can take a look of how users react to these applications, how users use these applications, and what they ask for. How you do that? You go on Google Play and you keep using the Google Play rankings. Rankings are a great way to understand what is going on right now on Google Play, and you can get an overall idea of a lot of things like free applications, paid applications, and users react in a lot of different ways. If the application is a game, or it's about photography, it's about social networking, messaging, and so on. So Google Play rankings on googleplay.com is a great way to see what is going on. There are other third-party analytics tools. I use them all the time. One of the most important is AppBrain. AppBrain has a lot of statistics on what's going on Google Play, and it's really focused on what is hot, what is trending, and this is exactly the thing that you need. You want to know what is going on, and this is a great tool to do that. Also, if you're looking for an Android application that do that, there's AppStats, which is still in beta, but you can download it from Google Play. And you can even insert your applications, and this application is going to start monitoring the activity of users on Google Play on your application. So you'll see, for example, where is ranked in the top grossing, for example, or the ratings that people are giving to your application. And of course, you need to understand how to use the Android Developer Console, because it's the main statistics tool that you can use to understand how your app is actually performing on Google Play. So focus on app stats, Android versions. Of course, you need to know what versions of Android are people using. And comments and ratings. We'll focus later on comments and ratings because that's a thing you need to focus on. So let's get it started with the design of your application. Clear and clean are the two main things you have to keep in your mind developing the design of your application. Why? Because users don't want to feel dumb. They don't want you don't want a user to feel dumb while they use your application. Because if they feel dumb, they will abandon your application. They just won't use it. And actually, users are really interested in letting you know what they think of your application. So if they request a feature, you better provide it. Get a way to provide this feature. Or if users reports a feature to be useless, you better change it or even remove it, because this is going to impact the ratings on Google Play. And the ratings on Google Play are what drives your application to be a killer app. So focus on that. So spend time improving your app design and user experience. The design guidelines and development design guidelines are really important. I know that it's maybe sometimes tedious to go on and understand these guidelines. But actually, if you follow the design and development guidelines, your application will be developed in a way that the users will already know how to use it, even if the first time they started on their phone, because the buttons should react in a certain way, the action bar should react in a certain way. Also, if your application follows the design guidelines, this will really help the Google Play team, which, you know, it exists, and this is actual people which is looking on Google Play, scratching the surface of Google Play, just like I said before, looking for great applications. And they have a quality guidelines which are based on the design and development guidelines. So follow the guidelines and you're on a good way to deliver a killer application. Your main first and last source of truth is developer.android.com. The web is great. I just said go on Stack Overflow and search for things, but this is your first stop. Learn to love this website. I do, because there is plenty of source code of samples and how-tos and guidelines. So you better going to focus on this. Let's talk about the actual assets of your app, the graphical assets, the design. What is the most important? Oh, sorry. Applications evolve with Android. And so should your application. Let's say Gmail in 2010 looked like this. It was okay at the time. It was working fine. But if you compare it to the actual version of Gmail, it looks like crap. So why? Because the system evolved during these years. And so should your application. You need to keep improving. If you see that it has been released a new version of Android, you better going to understand the design of that version and try to deliver good content for that kind of version. Talking about graphical assets, the most important asset of your application is your icon. Why? Because it's the first graphical asset the users will see of your application on Google Play. If users navigate Google Play and your app icon looks awful or unprofessional. Users just won't click on it. They just won't try to use your application, because if the app icon is unprofessional, then probably the rest of the application is going to be unprofessional too. So spend your time creating your icon. Screenshots. Screenshots are a great way to lure users. Why? Because there are plenty of different screen sizes on Google, on Android, and your application is supposed to work pretty much on all of them. And so users want to know if their device can run correctly your application. And the first thing to do that is to provide correct screenshots. I usually provide screenshots for 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, 7-inch, and 10-inch, because it takes from the smallest devices to the 10-inch tablets. And let's say you just provide the 7-inch screenshot. What if the user has only a small Galaxy Chat, for example, which has a 3.2 display, and they see a screenshot for a tablet? They will not install your application, because you don't provide it how the application looks on their device. On the same level, there's the video on Google Play. I saw that only few applications have video, but video is a great way to show the features of your application. I always provide a video of the applications, and that's because it's an engaging way to show what your application do. There are multiple ways to get a video of your application. You can use screencasting, like in Android 4.4 KitKat, which has a screen recording tool. Or there are other methods like the Android device monitor, and you can get the screencast of your application. Or if you can do that, you can still take a camera on your phone and take a video of that. Talking about development, app testing and compatibility are two things that, in my opinion, are really important to deliver a killer application. Why? Because just like I said, devices evolve and multiply. There are more than 4,000 different Android devices. This picture only shows a teeny tiny portion of this amount. So keep in mind that your application needs to be tested the best way. So in my opinion, the best way to accomplish that is to test applications on real devices. I know that devices are expensive, that not everyone can afford buying, let's say, 50 devices, I know. But in my opinion, if during time, let's say across a year or 2 years, if you can get a device, let's say a 3-inch device, 4-inch device, 7-inch device, and 10-inch device, you pretty much cover the 85% of the market, because these are the screen sizes that accord the best way to all the other screen sizes. We can say they are a kind of macro categories of screen sizes. And having a testing device is a great way, because you really have the feedback of how an application performs. You can also use emulators. I know that the Android emulator, the stock emulator, is kind of awful. It's slow and laggy. But there are alternatives. There is Genymotion, and I know that Genymotion team actually is around here. So and maybe they are even holding a talk, so you can go have a look. Genymotion is a great emulator because it uses virtualization. It is based on VirtualBox and is super performing. And there's also the Android x86 project, which is kind of working, you know. So do not underestimate the power of 2.3. Why? Because I know that all of us developers want to keep developing for the new versions of Android. Why? Because it's easier. You have the holo theme, you have all the stuff that you need to import through the support library. You already have it. You have the coolest new features. But Gingerbread is still at 20%. And as you want to deliver a killer application goes among all the devices. In my opinion, you can't afford losing this 20%. 20%, it's a lot. And also, it's installed on older devices, which are pretty much high-end devices. Like, for example, there are a lot of people with Samsung Galaxy S2, who actually didn't upgrade to the 4.0, still have the 2.3 version, and they like it. And the S2 actually is a pretty damn powerful phone. So you can afford losing this kind of customers. Keep using, and keep supporting 2.3. But focus your attention, of course, on 4.0 and beyond. Self-marketing. Okay, let's say we have a pretty damn cool application. We followed all the possible guidelines. It's working fine. It's working pretty magical. And the code is performing. And we tested across devices. So what we do, we published it. And then what happens? People start using your application. And so you need to understand how to engage these people. So customer care. Customer care is, in my opinion, one of the most important and basic stuff you have to do to get a killer application. Why should you care about ratings, for example, on Google Play? The stars you're getting, like Super Mario, you know. Why? Because these stars are your key to the success on Google Play. Ratings, have an analysis of ratings is the best way to measure customer appreciation of your application. Good ratings tends to induce other customers, other users, to try your application, to download it. And also, you have the possibility to create a direct relationship with your users. Why? Because this is a feature that was introduced last year. You can answer on Google Play to your customers. If they leave a comment, you can leave an answer, and which is a great way to engage them. There are, in my opinion, 5 categories of ratings on Google Play, and you better understand them very well, because if you screw up something with people will let you pay for this. So try to understand why they leave a certain rating on Google Play. Let's say 5-star rating. We want our application to be a 5-star application. A lot of killer applications actually are not 5-star, but this is your aim. You want to build a 5-star application. Who leaves 5 stars on your application? It's a category I call them enthusiasts. They are users that are really happy with your application, they love it, and they give it an amazingly high rating. What should you do with people that already gives you 5 stars? Well, you should answer them with gratitude. If you see a very good comment, you should reply to it and say, great, thank you for your comment, I really appreciate it. And then ask, what can you do to furtherly improve your application? Why? Because these people is already engaged with your app, and they want to be part of something. And if you do that, they'll be happy and they'll provide you valuable information. 4-star ratings are pretty much for what I call happy users. Happy users they appreciate your application, but they think that your application is not still enough to give it a top-notch rating. So they found something that you can improve. So you need to consider their advices and be careful, because happy users usually are ready to abandon your application if you don't do the extra mile and fix the little thing they think your app is lacking. Then there is one of my favorite categories, which is the users, because these users are kind of they like your application, but they found some serious issues in it. So you better get in touch with them to understand what is wrong, because it's a medium rating. But also it's one of my favorite, because a lot of people think that 3 of 5 stars is actually a good rating. So they maybe leave you 3 stars and say, oh, wonderful, I love your application, it's awesome. And you say, okay, why the 3 stars? I don't get it. So you better get in touch with these people, because if you make them notice, okay, you just said it's excellent, so why you left them 3 stars? You left 3 stars. They say, oh gosh, I got it wrong. Here's the 5 stars. So understand them. Then there are unhappy users. This is the category you must watch more carefully. No matter what, you're going to always have 1-star ratings, a bunch of 1-star ratings. Why? Because sometimes your application doesn't work on a particular device, or users don't know how to use it. So you need to improve yourself, improve your application, and understand what is going on. Even if you, let's say, for example, you publish an update and see all of a sudden 100 1-star ratings, that's because you probably screwed up something. Something is wrong. So watch out for 1-star ratings. But there is also another category, the last category, and you need to be careful to separate between happy users and haters. You're going to have a lot of nonsensical comments, users shouting against your application. They sometimes say, oh, I just installed your application and now my phone crashes all the time. And maybe your application is a photograph application which doesn't involve anything with performance or stuff. For example, people, I love this, people they say, oh, I can't download your application, it's not installed. And then I say, but if you can leave a comment and give a rating, but you actually have downloaded my app, so how is it possible? So go on and understand why they're leaving these comments. But in general, we can say that haters are gonna hate, so deal with it, don't get mad. So these are pretty much the categories, and the haters also leave really a lot of bad comments. So in general, for customer care, keep listening, improving and updating your application. Keep listening to your users to improve it. Don't be oversensitive. Haters are gonna hate, just like I said. Don't get mad. Improve your application according to your customer suggestions and keep up the good work. What I mean with keep up the good work, keep updating. Because if you don't update your application, your application will go down the rankings on Google Play. It's important to update your application, even because you show your users that you care about that application. So go on, provide updates. If you can update every week, maybe every couple of weeks, release an update. It's a really good way to deliver a killer application. Last but not least, self-marketing or promotion. What I mean, it's we have a great application. We have some users using it. We have a great design. It's performing, but we want it to go mainstream. You want everyone know of your application. So you need to improve your social skills to promote your app. Use Google+. Google+ is a great way to engage with Android users. Why? Because all Android users have a Google+ account. A lot of them use Google+. And the developer community is all about Google+. And a lot of important press is on Google+. So keep publishing your application and promoting them using Google+. Also on Google+, you can create alpha and beta testing communities that you can feed with the previous version of your application in order to get a feedback on your application even before publishing it, which is great. In my community, I don't have thousands of people. I have kind of 50, 70, maybe 100, maybe 80 people. And that's enough to have a feedback on everything. If you have 50 people, it's like having 5,000. They'll provide the same feedback. So go on and create alpha and beta communities. They are great, and you'll go in mainstream with an already tested application. Also, you can use, of course, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr, and whatever. And I do this all the time, send material to Android-related press. So create, for example, let's say screenshots, videos, a description of your application, send it to the press, to blogs, forums, newspapers, because they are eager to know about new great applications. So let's wrap up. Let's sum up a bit. The checklist for a killer application: knowledge of the system, know the system, know Android, improve the performance of your application. Good and consistent graphical assets. We said that design and user experience are really important, and providing content that follows the guidelines also help you creating compelling, interesting, and easy to use applications, which is the key to killer application. A lot of killer applications are applications that are easy to use, and so should your application. But doesn't mean not to be creative. You need to be creative to create a killer application. You need to improve yourself, to improve your app, and don't stop at difficulties. Go on, try something different, try something new. Test your application, feed it to the alpha and beta communities. Be sure your application works on older versions of Android. It works fine on older versions of Android. And be careful of customer care. Listen to your users. They want to let you know what they think of your application. And promote your app, of course. There are a lot of ways to promote your application. Also, you can even pay for promotion. A lot of websites allows you to pay and have advertisement of your application, which is fine too. If you have money to spend on banners, go on, and it's a great way. As a GDE, my interest is to help you developers create interesting and compelling applications. I run the Android App Clinic for Google Developer Live, which is the YouTube channel of the Google Developer environment. And the App Clinic is a video show where I take the most interesting Italian applications and analyze them, and let's say, for example, I've done an episode on the Holo theme. I took a great, well-developed application and saw how the Holo theme is applied on this application, which is a great way to let people know of your app and that you develop it the good way. So this is the link. There is a board on Trello.com where you can suggest your application. And the QR code, now I'm moving on the slide, so now or never. Okay. And also these are my contacts. I'm always on Google+. Also here's my profile on the GDE website. Keep writing to me, that's my email. Mail me if you have questions. If you want to let me know you are a great developer, you have a good idea for an application, please write me. I'll be really happy to help you, and I'll be welcoming you. But actually, I'll be here for 2 days, so if you have something to ask me, please come. And here's the Q&A. So if you have questions, that's it. Thank you. Okay, I also accept questions on Google Glass, of course. Anyone? Really? No questions? Gosh. You can also have questions in Italian. No? Sure. Fake ratings, yeah. This is a problem. There is a really handy button which is report as spam. So use that tool, or you can even write to the support on Google Play, and that's the team which is dedicated to provide support to developers for fake ratings. I suggest you one thing about ratings. Be careful and don't rate your own application, because if you spot it doing that, you'll be banned from Google Play. Also, be careful about paying for ratings, because a lot of services that provide fake ratings on Google Play use bots, so they are a kind of automated posts and ratings, and if you are spotted with the fake ratings by the Google Play team, you're going to be banned. So be careful. Sure.
What do you consider a good threshold for the number of downloads to show that you're doing well?
Oh, okay. It's difficult to say. Well, you need to consider what is the trending of your application. If you start, it's difficult to say, because from my experience, sometimes you have for a month, let's say 100 downloads, and then all of a sudden you have 1,000 downloads every day. So you need to understand what is the curve of your application, how it is performing. If you see a descending curve, definitely you're not doing well. In my opinion, you have to consider during time. Don't expect your application to be downloaded by 10,000 people every day from day one. It will take some time to reach a certain constant amount of downloads every day. Usually it takes like 1 to 3 months to stabilize the downloads ratings. Is it good for you? Good answer. Okay. Guys, really no questions about Glass? I'm incredible. Sure. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't show you because I have a Chrome OS Chromebook here, so I can't connect it. But actually, I can describe it to you. It's like seeing a 30-inch television from 2 meters of distance. The the quality of the image is pretty fine. The resolution, the actual resolution of this prototype is, I guess, 640 for 320 pixel. Yeah, for 320. It is fine actually. It's only on one eye, but it's okay because it's in a position that allows your eye to focus on the image without disturbing the other eye. So actually, when you focus the image on glass, it looks like you're focusing even on the other eye, even if you don't. Yeah. Anyone about apps, about building a killer app? Anyone has developed a killer application? Oh, sure. Okay.
Just a moment. We are really taping, so you have to speak.
Can you really do everything by yourself, or you pay someone to care about customers or marketing? Or
myself,
something?
you're saying?
Yeah.
I do it myself, actually. I've been doing this for pretty much 4 years. So I develop a lot of skills in design, UX, user experience, and application performance. Also, I have the good luck of working in a co-working space where I share my knowledge with other professionists. So I always in touch with designers, with social media experts, which are giving really great expertise to me. So if you're an indie developer, my suggestion is to go on and improve yourself. You don't need to be, let's say, a Photoshop hero. You need to know how to do the basic stuff to provide a professional-ish look to your application. And that's enough for users, you say. But if you can pay a designer to do that, even better. There are plenty of designers who now know what are the guidelines of Android, so which is great. You can ask them and have them develop the interface of your application. In general, my suggestion is to go through how-tos, tutorials, walkthroughs for all this kind of stuffs. The web is full of tutorials on making good applications, and Google Plus even Google. Google provides an incredible amount of videos, for example, about the guidelines of Android. And also they provide an incredible amount of samples. Samples are you don't have to do everything from scratch. You can start using the samples and then modify them according to your needs. But it's a good way. I do this a lot of time, to start from samples and from them bring out a killer app. No, an application. Sometimes it becomes a killer app. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, guys.